Donald Trump campaigned on being a friend of the gay community, but so many this morning saying that late night move from the White House here sets back protections for transgender people.
Feels like we're moving backwards, and I think it sends a message to transgender people all over this country that we are not safe in this country.
Society, we're like, oh no, this is disgusting. This is something that we have to deal with. I'm not comfortable. We're not comfortable with many things.
Test happening overnight over the White House's transgender rights decision.
What is the confirmation bias? What a great question to start with. Confirmation bias is when we have a certain idea in our minds of how something is going to go, and according to how it goes, we kind of prejudge things.
Why do we tend to fall victim to this type of bias?
Part of it, I think, is because we have lack of exposure. And it's honestly almost like a quick fix. So I think a lot of times we just, with the limited information we have in front of us, we make conclusions without continuing to find out more. The idea of transgender, gender identity, all those things, I think scares people because of lack of exposure. And I think if more people knew about an individual or had contact with individuals, it goes back to, I believe, when even homosexuality was an issue. And when that was an issue, everyone thought, well, if you're around someone who's homosexual, they're going to turn you into this. Confirmation bias. And that's not true. And I think a lot of it is just people are unaware and scared of something that's different from them.
How do you think we change our view on this issue?
Exposure. Experience and exposure. Do you know what I mean? There was some research studies that were done, this was a long time ago, and it was in the area of social psychology, that they had two groups of individuals, and they were, I'm trying to remember the exact study, I can't. There was two groups of kids, I don't know if it was different classes or different races, and they competed against each other, and not until they had to actually work on a project together did the groups come together. So I think it's working with individuals, it's being exposed to different types of individuals. I think that's where it kind of goes.
Do you feel mainstream media accurately portrays the importance of trans rights? Why or why not?
I find overwhelmingly that the media is generally transphobic and oppressive and dehumanizing of the trans community. The most recent example that comes to mind is when Tanya Keita Harvey, who was murdered in Buffalo on February 6th of this year. When she was killed, the first reports in the news of her were that a man was killed. When her presentation was clearly like hyper feminine and like nothing about her said that she was a man, and so like that's an act of violence by reporting misgendering her in the news and not being sure about the people you're talking about before you out their whole identity to the whole world. So that's just like one example that people just don't do the research and learn the language before they like write stories about the community, and then it just perpetuates myths and misconceptions about the community.
And how would you convince people to agree to the bathroom bill?
There's lots of different arguments. I mean, I think the biggest one I hear about like why trans people shouldn't use the bathroom is that they're like sexual deviants or sex offenders or predators or laundry list of ridiculous, damaging, disgusting things people say. But really it's an issue of safety because it's trans people who are attacked in the bathrooms, and so like if they get to go in a bathroom where they're safer, then they're safer. But it's like there's not really any documented like cases of trans people acting inappropriately in the bathroom, but there's like thousands of cases of trans people being attacked and dragged out of bathrooms.
A common bias many people have towards transgender individuals deals with bathroom controversy over who should be allowed to use what bathroom based on the gender they identify with. Several people believe that some transgender women who use the girls' bathroom will use it to their advantage and attack heterosexual women. Many reports have tried to justify their confirmation bias and say that people are not afraid of true transgenders attacking women in restrooms, but they are sexual predators who lie about their gender identity.
I think that anybody should be able to use the bathroom. In Europe, all of the bathrooms are unisex. It doesn't matter what everyone's doing in the bathroom is private anyways, and if you're doing something private, you're in a stall and everyone's got their own closed stall. So what's the problem with? I don't really understand why it's an issue, but I hope we can just try to change people's way of thinking and just create all of our bathrooms to be neutral, and then we won't have a problem at all. I feel like we should set an example and change all of our bathrooms to being neutral as well. Promote more awareness on campus, do more things during Transgender Week or Transgender Day of Remembrance. I'll say the same thing that I would say to everybody: just be yourself. Be yourself, love yourself. Soulmates will come, true friends will show their true colors, and you know, there's always someone out there to reach out to if you're in need. Of course, please, as I have in the past, don't be afraid to call something like crisis services, but reach out to a friend, a relative, a neighbor, someone that you can talk to. Don't bottle it up inside.